I'm live. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. I know I am not on my usual time. I'm usually on a little bit earlier in the evening, but I wanted to try something new this year. Anybody who know me knows that I am a late night person, and yeah, so it's only right. Like I'm my brightest at nighttime. Like I get more done, seem like at night, I guess because it's quiet. Except on a Friday night when the kids are still up. So you may see them in the back or walking by, whatever. But it's cool. It's YouTube. So come on in here, let's chat. Let's have a conversation. We're gonna have a conversation tonight, and then I want to invite you to something. So I want you to stay on, and we'll talk a little bit about that. I was trying to make sure that all of my stuff was working properly. All right, if you're in here, go ahead on and let me know that you're here and that you can hear me clearly. Let me click and see. I think I'm gonna have to do this. Yeah, let's do that. Let me click and see. Yep, it's coming through clearly. All right, let's go ahead on and get started. I know some of you, I'm on at a totally different time, but I'm actually excited about it because I'm a late night person. And so I love being up at night. And I know some of you will go back and watch the replay. If you're in my group, welcome. If you are on my Facebook personal profile, welcome. If you are on my business profile, welcome, welcome. If you are watching me on YouTube, send some comments and welcome. So tonight we're going to talk about three signs that your identity is being attacked. And some of it you probably didn't even know. So if for those of you who do not know who and your version may be different from my version. So we're kind of clear that up and what I mean when I'm talking about identity tonight. But we'll also talk a little bit about like what it means for it to be under attack and some signs that you need to be looking out for that your identity is under attack. So let me ask you something. And then I want you to answer this honestly. Have you ever been busy like all day and just exhausted, but when you look back, nothing that mattered actually moved? Like nothing on your goal list was checked off, nothing on your checklist was done. The things, or maybe it was done, but you look back and it still feels like you haven't really actually moved the needle very much. That's not a time issue. It's not a time management issue because I think sometimes we can label it as a time management issue. It's an identity issue. And so I want to talk this weekend, and I'll be coming on at different times this weekend, just talking about like signs that your identity is being attacked. Because we believe that when your identity is under attack, your purpose stall, your energy drains, and your dreams just quietly go on life support. And if you're thinking like I'm already in your business already, then good. I want you to stay with me to the end because I'm pretty sure I'm going to say something that's going to land and it may be hard to hear. But I feel like, in transparency, that some of my greatest moments of healing and being pushed is when it landed hard, when it was things that were uncomfortable for me to hear, but things that I needed to hear in order to move me forward. So here's sign number one that your identity may be under attack is that you're busy, but you're not being productive. And I'm not talking about laziness because we can label it as, oh, I just feel lazy today. I didn't feel like doing anything. Or people would even call you lazy. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about constantly doing things that don't move your life forward. Um, I'm talking about like you being busy, but you're not progressing in what you're doing. So you're busy all the time, but none of your goals are getting accomplished, or years and years have gone by and you're still stuck in the same spot that you were stuck in 5 years ago. And the things that you wanted to do 5 years ago are still not being done, but you're still busy. You've been busy, like you've been busy, and you would tell people, I'm busy, but I don't know exactly what I'm accomplishing. So you're always responding, reacting, fixing, but you're rarely building, deciding, or advancing, or you're rarely doing those things for yourself. You may do those things for other people, but you're rarely doing those things for yourself. An identity attack doesn't always come as chaos. Sometimes we can think anytime the enemy is attacking, we think, oh, this is something that we notice. But that is not true. Sometimes when the enemy attacks your identity, it's something that you don't recognize. It doesn't always feel like chaos. Sometimes it feels like comfort. Sometimes it comes to you as a distraction. So you may not even recognize that, oh, this is an attack on my identity. And sometimes, let me just say this, sometimes the attack could be actually part of what you've been used to, so you don't even recognize it. So these are things that you've been doing over and over for years and years. It could even be a part of who you are because you've done it for so long. So you may not even recognize that it's actually an attack on your identity. So sometimes it can come as a distraction. But I want you to hear me. If the enemy cannot destroy you, he'll keep you busy enough to forget who you are. That's a tactic that he has used over and over. And I believe this for the women of God. I believe this for so many, that the enemy, he can't come to you directly. Well, actually, he do come to you directly. He actually do come to you directly too. But if he can't destroy you, because you are intercessor, you are on the wall praying, or you are very intelligent and very smart, so he may not come to you very direct, but he can keep you busy. He can keep throwing things at you that will keep you off task or off your assignment. So if he can't destroy you, he'll keep you busy enough for you to forget who you are, because he knows that there is power in you believing in who you are and believing in who God has created you to be. When you don't know who you are, or you feel some kind of disconnection from who you are, you'll spend your energy trying to prove it, trying to please other people, and then trying to perform instead of actually progressing in what you need to be progressing in. I feel like I need to say that again. When you don't know who you are, or when you feel disconnected from who you are, you'll spend your energy trying to prove, trying to please, and trying to perform instead of trying to progress. So let me ask you this, because I feel like I said some things that probably are hitting already. If this one hit home for you, then I want you to type busy in the comments. If this first sign hit home for you, the sign that you're busy but not productive, I want you to type busy in the comments. I'm going to pause for a minute so I can make sure that you guys are able to see my video. Something that I've noticed about Facebook, because I was wondering why I wasn't getting any views is that it tends to put my videos when I'm using a streaming platform, it'll put my videos as private. I don't know why it does that, but if I got to start over tonight, I'm going to start over. Apologies for those of you who are watching. I just want to make sure that this goes out. And one way you can help me get this out is that you go ahead on and hit share to somebody else that to your audience so that we can help push this out. Um because it get really agitating that it does my videos like that. I don't know what it is, but it always do my videos like that. But I am an overcomer. Let's see. Yeah, for some reason it won't, I don't know, on my regular profile. So if you're on my regular profile, it's not letting me make it public. But I did go and share like my business one on here, onto my public profile or onto my personal profile. Cause yeah, I'm gonna figure that out why it does that. And I don't think I could troubleshoot that from here. But anyway, so forgive me if I start over because like I said, I do not feel like the enemy is gonna win on this. So let me start over. Tonight we're talking about three signs that your identity has been under attack. And we've already talked about sign number one, and that's that you're busy but you're not being productive. So I gave some examples of what that looks like for you to be busy and not being productive. So let me ask you something. Have you ever been busy all day, exhausted, tired, but when you look back, nothing that mattered actually moved? You weren't making any progress. That's not a time management issue. That's an identity issue. So this weekend, I'm going to talk to you about three signs that your identity is being under attack. So I'm coming to you tonight. I think I shared at the beginning for those of you who didn't get a chance to join. If you're just joining from my personal profile, welcome. But I share how I used to go live a little bit earlier, and I may go live a little bit earlier, but I'm a night person. I love doing things at night. I'm more clear at night, I guess, because I'm winding down from all the pressures of the day. And so I'm more creative at night. I get a lot more done. My mind just flows easier at night. And I was like, well, I mean, this year, one thing that I've kind of purpose to do is to be more transparent, more bold, but also be more myself, more authentic, because I can't tell you to be authentic and true to who you are if I'm not 100% being true to who I am. And part of my truth is I'm a night owl. I'm probably going to be up for a few more hours. If I go to bed early, it's like rare because I'm usually up till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Because my body's just wired to be up for some reason. So I'm usually up late. So I was like, I'm up late. I don't see why I'm not already going live later. Like, I'm not the only night owl. And for those of you who want to watch the replay that are not night owls, the replay will be up. You can go back and watch the replay. But in my true authentic self, I felt it right for me to come live tonight at 11 something. And then Facebook want to give me struggles. So we're talking about a little bit this weekend, three signs that your identity is being attacked, because we believe that when your identity is under attack, your purpose stalls, your energy is drained, and your dreams quality just kind of go on life support or go on the back burner. So if you're thinking that I'm already talking about you, this already is hitting home with you, then I want you to stay here because I want to give you some other signs that your identity is under attack. So sign number 1 is that you're busy, but you're not being productive. If you are always busy, I'm not talking about lazy. I'm not talking about constantly doing things um that don't move you forward. Well, I am talking about things that don't constantly move you forward. So if you're always responding, you're always reacting, you're always the one fixing, but you're not the one building, you're not the one deciding, or you're not advancing in the things that you want to advance in, then you're probably the one that I'm talking about tonight. And an identity attack doesn't always come as chaos. I think we think when the enemy, and I was sharing this a little bit earlier, that when the enemy attacks us, that sometimes is loud. It's not always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it could be so intertwined with who we are that we don't even recognize it because it's who you've always been, it's what you've always done, it's what people have always expected from you, or what is always been done. So now it's so intertwined with your identity that it's hard for you to separate that this is really an identity attack. Sometimes it don't come as chaos, sometimes it comes as distraction. And the enemy will use anybody or anything to distract you and take you off your purpose and off finding out who you are. He can start those distractions as early as childhood. And we're not gonna go into trauma, but if we anybody, everyone around you, if you're on social media, is talking about trauma and how it reshapes you. It changes who you are. It changes your life. It changes how you view people. It changes how you view yourself. But it also there's a genetic component that also changes your genetic makeup. And this is all research backed. And anytime your genetic makeup is changed, then your identity is altered. So here's what I want to tell you. If the enemy cannot destroy you, he can keep you busy enough so that you begin to forget who you are. And sadly, that's where a lot of us are. We're busy, but we're not doing what we know we need to be doing. Or we're still struggling with, I feel stuck. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I got lost. I've lost myself. My children are teens, are grown now, and I don't know who I am. I've poured all my life into all of this other stuff that I don't know who I am. So when you don't know who you are, or you've been so disconnected from who you are, you're spending your energy trying to prove, trying to please, and trying to perform instead of progressing. No wonder you tired. No wonder you're exhausted. You don't spend all that energy trying to prove yourself to other people or trying to people please or on a performance base. And let me just tell you, performance works in the workplace, but it don't work in relationships. It don't work when you're trying to achieve your goals or the God way, the kingdom way. It will not work. So I want to ask you this. If this one hit home for you, I want you to be honest. Be honest. I want you to type busy in the comments. If this one hit home, I want you to type busy in the comments. Sign number 2. The second sign that your identity is being attacked is that everyone else's needs matter more than your own. I'm going to challenge you a little bit on this one. This isn't selflessness, because I think we can label is that we can make it into this whole martyr complex that you're giving away, and it's selfless. It's you being selfless. That's not what it really is. What it really is self abandonment. You pour, you give, you rescue, you're overextending yourself, but then you feel guilty about resting. You feel guilty about saying no. And let's not talk about you saying yes to choosing yourself. You feel guilty about that. When your identity is under attack, you start confusing your value with what you're doing or your usefulness. I want you to sit with that. I want you to pause and sit with that. When your identity is under attack, you start confusing your value with your usefulness. So you start thinking, as long as I'm doing, then I'm valuable to somebody. As long as I'm giving, then they understand my worth. As long as I'm doing what they ask me to do, then they see who I truly am or how much my heart is toward them or how my heart is toward them. They love me. They value me. And then you don't rest because you think you haven't earned it. Like rest is something that you got to earn. I was in one our staff meeting at work this week, and something that our CEO said that I absolutely love that he said it. He said, "Take your time off. The work that we do is stressful enough. Take your time off. No one should be giving you the third degree about you using your PTO time. And as a company, they're very generous at the time that they give you off. We get holidays I hadn't even heard of. We get flex time if we had to work over or something like that. Like, they're very generous at their time off. But you don't have to earn rest. You take rest because you need it, because it's something that you want, you deserve it. You don't have to earn it. Then here's another one. You don't say no because you're afraid of being seen as selfish. And then people will try to gaslight you and tell you being selfish for actually prioritizing you. You don't choose yourself. Let's be real honest about this. You don't choose yourself because somewhere along the way, you learned that survival meant sacrifice. Well, that's not that's not accurate. Here's the truth. When you pour from an empty well, it doesn't make you holy. It makes you hollow. Makes you feel empty. Because you can't pour from an empty cup. I tell my clients that I see when I'm giving presentation, especially when I'm talking about boundaries, is that people should get your overflow. They do not get what's inside of your cup. What's inside of your cup belongs to you. They get your overflow. So if you don't have any overflow, then you don't have the capacity to give them very much. If your cup is just right there at the top, that's bad enough just for you. So what does that mean? That means that you have to be intentional on pouring into you. You pour into you first. It's nothing selfish about that. How do you pour into you? Rest, devotion, taking your time off, going to therapy, hiring a coach, saying no. Those are things that pour into you. If you've been putting yourself last for years, I want you to drop a heartbreak in the comments. And like I said, we're being honest. We're being honest, right? We're being honest. We're being honest. If you've been putting yourself last for years, just drop a heartbreak in the comments. This may be a moment where you're just kind of evaluating yourself, and that's okay. Self reflection is self-awareness. Self-reflection is a beautiful thing. So I'm gonna move on to sign number 3, because I wasn't planning on being on here long. So sign number 3 is that I pause for a reason, because this sign is probably the most quiet, but it's also one of the most dangerous signs. And a lot of us don't see it as danger. So I want you to hear me on this one. Sign number 3 is that your dreams aren't being accomplished. And let me just tell you, I feel like a lot of us take the concept of time for granted, and we think that time is going to always be on our side. Or we think that because they're dreams that are there in us, that we can just do them whenever we decide to do it. Let me give you this warning. I believe that we have crossed into a season where things are on a time limit. There is such an urgency gone out now in the spirit. If you haven't sensed that, we know naturally there are things going on all around us, other countries, our country at war with other countries. There are things going on all around us. But I also believe at the same time there is an urgency, particularly for those who hear me, but also for kingdom people to get in position. There is not unlimited time. You don't have unlimited time. If we did, the scripture wouldn't tell us to teach us to number our days so that we can apply our hearts to wisdom. So if your dreams aren't being accomplished, then that means you're probably not all on the right assignment. Or you something probably has shifted in your life, and you may not even be sensitive enough to detect that there's a shifting happening in your life. But if the Lord is urging you to do something different this year, if he's urging you, he bringing back up those things, those plans that he's giving you from times past, if you feel that, if you're sensing that, if he's saying you don't need to put this off any longer, then there's because that urgency, that clarion call has gone out in the spirit for you to do something different. So your dreams aren't being accomplished, not because you don't have dreams, because you keep postponing them. You keep saying, I'm gonna do it later. I'm gonna do it another year. I'm gonna do it when my children grow up. I'm gonna do it when they go out to college. I'm gonna do it whenever, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. You name it. One day after the kids, after things settle down, after I heal a little more. But hear me, at some point, healing without movement becomes hiding. And you know you're hiding. You know there's more in you. You know there's more that needs to come out of you. And I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to myself too, because these very same things are things that the Lord has been dealing with me on. I'm not just telling you, I'm telling myself too. But I have put things in place to move me forward this year. An attacked identity will always convince you that your dreams are optional. But they are not. They're not. They're not. You're not optional. What's inside of you is not optional. What they really are divine instructions. They have been divinely put there by the Creator, which means that you being here at the time that you are here is by no mistake. So I want to ask you this. If you delayed a dream you know God gave you, I want you to type me. Or you could put the little emoji in the chat, the little hand raised emoji. If you delayed a dream you know God gave you, I want you to type me. And you don't have to feel shame about it. We've all been there. I've been there. I've delayed some things. I just be honest. I've delayed some things. I put off some things and years to go by and I'll have to go back. One of those things that I put off was this book that I've launched called Seven Real ID, which is seven emotional spaces you to unlock. Look, I done lost the name of the book. Real ID, seven emotional spaces to unlock the real you. I put it out for years. When God had originally gave me the book, it was what 2022 sometime. Put it out for years. But here's what I've learned is that through my own life, that is, and through other people's life, through women that I coach, through working, through people that I interact with doing these presentations and workshops and things that I do, is that identity doesn't just break in one place, it fractures in emotional spaces. We never learn to heal. So I want to take about a minute. So just about a minute of your time and speak to you directly. I want to speak directly to the woman watching who feels seen right now. All of these little points, all three of these points done hit you. You done said me, you done said busy, you done said ouch, you done said that's me. I done put off. Like you know this hits home for you. You're the reason why I wrote Real ID. Because so many women know how to succeed. You know how to hit certain targets for everybody else. You know what to do to show up. You know what to do. You know how to succeed. You have had a track record of being successful, but you don't know how to rest. You don't know how to feel. You don't know how to be honest without feeling guilt. You don't know how to put boundaries in place without feeling guilty about it. This book walks you through those seven emotional steps to reconnect with who you really are. Not who you've had to be to survive, not what culture have told you, not what other people and expectations have been placed on you have told you, not none of those, but who God said you are. Pre-orders close this Sunday. I'm going to keep the window open until Sunday at midnight. And y'all, we are literally 6 sales away from closing this chapter strong. I started this pre-sale about a week ago, let's say, maybe a week ago, and the response that I've gotten with pre-sales have been amazing. I set up an initial goal and I said, you know what? I'm not gonna stop till I hit this goal. And we are 6 away from hitting our goal. If something in you keeps saying this is for me, I don't want you to ignore it. I do not want you to ignore it because that's usually what we do. Like we'll identify like this hit home. This is something that I'm dealing with. This is something that I'm struggling with, and then we'll click off the live and we won't take action. But I don't want you to ignore it this time. This book is available for pre-order right now. You can find it on our website. I'll drop a link. I'll make sure that you have quick access to the link. You can go to any of our profiles and you'll see it there. I want you to grab it this weekend while it's fresh on your heart. Don't wait. Not when life will distract. Life is going to hit you and you're going to get distracted. I want you to grab it while it's fresh on your heart. And let me say this plainly, and then I'm gonna be done. You're not tired because you're weak. You're tired because you've been living disconnected from who you really are. And the longer identity stays under attack, the longer your destiny stays delayed. Yep. The longer your identity stays under attack, the longer your destiny stays delayed. So before I hop off here, because I've been on here now for 36 minutes, I want you to go to my website, drtiffanyross.com. I'm going to post it right here in the chat. And then I'll come back and make sure I post it inside of the description of the video. If you're on Facebook, you'll be able to see the link right there. Go to my website. You will see it when you first open, you'll be able to see the book. I want you to click on the pre-order link and it'll take you right there for you to check out. I want you to pre-order the book and stop making peace with a life that looks full but feels empty. Now, I'll be back live again this weekend, but I don't want you to wait on another reminder to choose yourself. You don't need a reminder to choose yourself. If you need a reminder, well, here it is. This is your reminder. It's time for you to choose you. It's time. It's time for you to choose you. I know it's late. I'm going to hop off and go back and enjoy the rest of my night. You go enjoy the rest of your night. For those of you who are rewatching the replay, for those of you who are rewatching the replay, thank you for tuning in this long. I look forward to seeing you guys when I come back on tomorrow. Tomorrow's my son's birthday, so I'm not sure if I'll be back tomorrow, but I'll definitely be back before the weekend is out. You guys have a good night.